The Los Angeles Lakers are once again at the center of the conversation when it comes to roster movement, and this time the discussions are getting a little more intricate. There's a growing sense around the league that the Lakers are closely monitoring situations where teams are looking to shed salary rather than actively upgrade their rosters. One name that keeps surfacing in these talks is Nick Richards, currently tied to the Phoenix Suns, a team that finds itself under pressure to make small but meaningful financial adjustments to stay flexible. Phoenix is in a position where clearing a relatively modest amount of cap space could make a real difference for them. Nick Richards' contract sits right in that range, where moving him could solve their immediate problem without forcing a complete overhaul. From the Lakers' perspective, this opens an interesting door because Richards fills a need as a physical presence in the frontcourt, something the team has been searching for in different ways over the past seasons. The challenge, however, is not whether Richards fits, but how the Lakers can make the numbers work without creating new holes on the roster. One theoretical approach involves sending out Dalton Connect in a straight swap. On paper, it looks simple. Connect earns slightly less, Richards earns slightly more, and the Lakers technically have room to absorb that difference. The issue comes immediately after that, because the Lakers would then be left short on roster spots and would need another move just to remain compliant. That is where things stop being straightforward and start turning into a larger puzzle involving multiple teams and moving parts. This is why the conversation naturally drifts toward creativity. The Lakers have shown in the past that they are willing to structure deals that go beyond a simple one-for-one exchange. They can combine contracts, stagger outgoing salaries, and use expiring deals to keep future flexibility intact. When you start looking at it through that lens, the idea of a larger, multi-team trade becomes much more realistic, even if it also becomes more complicated. In that landscape, the Brooklyn Nets consistently appear as a central hub. Brooklyn is not in a rush to contend right now, and their priorities are clear. They want assets, flexibility, and as many movable pieces as possible. They are open to facilitating deals if it means they can collect value along the way. For the Lakers, that makes Brooklyn an ideal partner, especially when other teams are trying to offload contracts or solve cap-related problems. There are players on Brooklyn's roster who would clearly help the Lakers, not just in terms of talent, but also in balancing rotations and depth. Some of them might even be more appealing fits than Nick Richards himself. But the asking price is where things get tricky. Brooklyn knows the value of its productive players, particularly those who are performing well or still developing. That means the Lakers would likely have to give up meaningful assets to get them, and that is where front office patience becomes critical. The idea of a bigger swing starts to make sense when you consider the alternative. Instead of giving up premium assets for a single player, the Lakers could aim to address several needs at once. If they could walk away from a deal with 3 or 4 rotation-level players, suddenly the cost becomes easier to justify. Depth has been a recurring issue, especially over the course of a long season, and solving multiple problems in one move could set the team up for a smoother push later on. In this scenario, Phoenix benefits by clearing salary, Brooklyn benefits by collecting contracts and assets, and the Lakers benefit by reshaping the roster in a more balanced way. Dalton Connect heading to Phoenix could be one piece of that puzzle, while expiring contract from Los Angeles could flow to Brooklyn. That kind of structure allows each team to accomplish its goals without forcing any single franchise to overextend. Once you start expanding the scope, even more possibilities appear. Other teams around the league are quietly evaluating what to do with players who may not be long-term fits. Some organizations are stuck between competing now and planning for the future, which creates opportunities for a team like the Lakers that is firmly focused on winning in the present. Adding additional teams into the mix increases the complexity, but it also increases the chances of finding value where others see inconvenience. That said, there's always a balance to strike. Massive, multi-team trades are notoriously difficult to complete. Every team has its own internal valuation of players, contracts, and future picks. What looks fair to one front office can feel completely unbalanced to another. Even aligning timelines and priorities can be a challenge. let alone agreeing on the exact combination of players and salaries. This is why, despite all the theoretical paths, there's still an argument for keeping things as simple as possible. A clean deal that solves one clear problem might be more realistic than a sprawling trade that tries to solve everything at once. Still, the Lakers are in a position where standing still is not really an option. They need to be proactive, especially when opportunities arise from teams looking to cut costs or reset their books. Brooklyn's willingness to act as a facilitator remains one of the most intriguing angles. They are comfortable absorbing contracts if it means gaining future value, and that mindset aligns perfectly with the Lakers' need to move money around without sacrificing long-term flexibility. When you look at it that way, looping Brooklyn into a deal involving Phoenix starts to feel less like a stretch and more like a logical progression. The key question is how far the Lakers are willing to go. Are they comfortable attaching valuable draft capital to make a deal work? Or do they believe they can leverage other teams' urgency to create a favorable outcome without overpaying? That internal debate likely shapes every conversation happening behind the scenes right now. Nick Richards, in this context, almost becomes a symbol of a larger strategy rather than the final prize. He represents the type of player the Lakers can target when other teams are motivated by financial pressure. Whether the final result involves Richards alone or expands into a broader reshaping of the roster depends entirely on how these discussions evolve and which teams decide to act first. As the Lakers continue to explore ways to improve their roster, the discussion inevitably turns toward the concept of multi-team trades that can simultaneously address depth, cap flexibility, and long-term positioning. One of the most intriguing possibilities revolves around linking the Lakers, the Phoenix Suns, and the Brooklyn Nets into a single transaction that provides clear benefits to each team. The Suns gain the ability to clear Nick Richards' contract and open up cap space. The Nets acquire expiring contracts and valuable assets for future maneuvering, and the Lakers potentially receive multiple rotation-level players who can contribute immediately. This kind of trade requires careful orchestration, but the potential upside is significant. Expanding on the Phoenix angle, the Suns' motivation is straightforward. They're not actively trying to rebuild, but they're constrained by financial realities. Offloading Nick Richards' $5 million contract would give them breathing room, and it aligns with their goal of maintaining flexibility without sacrificing competitive positioning. For the Lakers, acquiring Richards is not just about the numbers. It is about addressing a tangible roster need. He provides size, rebounding, and interior defense, which are all areas where Los Angeles has lacked consistency in recent seasons. Yet, the simplicity ends there, because absorbing his salary requires corresponding moves to balance the roster. In practical terms, a trade that involves Dalton Knecht going to Phoenix can serve as a starting point. Knecht's contract is slightly less than Richards', which helps facilitate the financial balance, but Los Angeles then needs to fill the resulting roster gap. That is where the Brooklyn Nets come into play. Brooklyn has positioned itself as a team willing to act as a facilitator in trades, particularly when they can receive expiring contracts, future picks, or young players with potential upside. They are not under pressure to contend immediately, which means they can be patient and strategic in their approach, making them a perfect partner for the Lakers in a more complex transaction. The Nets roster contains several players who could be appealing to Los Angeles, both in terms of skill set and cost control. These are players who may not be stars in the traditional sense, but can fill key roles in rotation, provide defensive versatility, or give the Lakers flexibility to rest starters without losing competitiveness. Targeting these types of players is crucial because it allows the Lakers to maintain a balance between immediate improvement and preserving the ability to make future moves in the offseason. Depth, after all, is often what separates teams that survive long playoff runs from those that falter under the strain of injuries and fatigue. From a strategic standpoint, the Lakers could aim for a package that combines Richards with one or two Nets players, along with expiring contracts that Brooklyn values. This could include younger players who have shown flashes of promise, but are not central to Brooklyn's long-term plans, or veterans whose contracts are nearing expiration. By carefully constructing such a trade, Los Angeles can address multiple roster needs while also avoiding the trap of overpaying for a single player. It is about quantity with quality, creating a scenario where every acquisition contributes something meaningful. Adding additional layers to the trade opens up even more possibilities. The Lakers could involve other teams that are also trying to offload contracts or reshape their rosters. For example, organizations like the Kings or the Warriors may have players who are expendable in the short term, but still have talent that could complement Los Angeles' system. By connecting these dots, the Lakers have the opportunity to engineer a transaction that simultaneously solves multiple problems for multiple teams. It is a complex puzzle, but the potential for mutual benefit is significant. However, executing a multi-team trade of this scale is never straightforward. Each organization has its own priorities, opinions on player value, and willingness to make concessions. What one team sees as a fair exchange, another may view as insufficient. Timing is also critical, as delays or misalignment in negotiations can derail even the most carefully planned deal. Despite these challenges, the potential payoff for Los Angeles is worth the effort. Successfully acquiring multiple pieces who can contribute immediately while maintaining flexibility for future moves would represent a major step forward for the franchise. At the core of these considerations is the recognition that trades are not just about individual talent. They're about structure, timing, and alignment of incentives. The Lakers' approach reflects a deep understanding of these dynamics. Rather than simply chasing headline names, they're looking for players who solve multiple problems simultaneously. Richards is one piece of that equation, but the broader strategy involves combining him with other assets in a way that maximizes overall roster efficiency and long-term options. One advantage the Lakers have in these discussions is their willingness to think creatively and act decisively when opportunities arise. They are not constrained by conventional thinking and are open to complex scenarios that others might shy away from. This flexibility allows them to navigate situations where multiple teams are involved, particularly when those teams have different motivations. Brooklyn's willingness to act as a facilitator is a perfect example of how the Lakers can leverage the ambitions of others to achieve their own objectives. Another factor in these considerations is the balance between short-term and long-term planning. Los Angeles is in a position where the immediate goal is competitive success, but they cannot ignore the implications of their moves on future flexibility. By targeting contracts that are expiring or young players with upside, but manageable risk, they can enhance the roster without sacrificing the ability to act in subsequent off-seasons. The goal is a seamless blend of present impact and future maneuverability. The Lakers' potential to combine Richards with a multiplayer package from Brooklyn also highlights the importance of salary management. Navigating cap space, matching contracts, and ensuring compliance with league rules requires careful planning. Every move has ripple effects, influencing future trades, free agent opportunities, and even internal roster decisions. Success in this environment demands both creativity and precision, which is why Los Angeles' front office approach has been noted for its strategic depth. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, in a move that could shake up the landscape of the NBA, sources suggest that a key player from the Los Angeles Clippers has reportedly accepted an offer from their crosstown rivals, the Los Angeles Lakers. While the deal has not been officially confirmed by either franchise, insiders claim that discussions between the player and the Lakers management have progressed significantly, fueling speculation about a potential blockbuster shift in the league. The news has already sent ripples through both fan bases. Clippers supporters are expressing concern over the possibility of losing a core talent to their most bitter rivals, while Lakers fans are buzzing with excitement at the prospect of adding another star to a team that has consistently sought to strengthen its championship aspirations. The rivalry between the two Los Angeles franchises is among the fiercest in professional basketball, and such a transfer would only intensify the competition on and off the court. Analysts point out that the player's decision, if finalized, could dramatically alter the balance of power in the Western Conference. The Lakers have long been known for their aggressive recruitment strategy, and landing a player of this caliber would send a clear message to their competitors about their intent to contend at the highest level. Meanwhile, the Clippers could face pressure to quickly fill the potential void, prompting a wave of speculation about trades, free agent signings, and internal adjustments aimed at maintaining their competitive edge. While the details of the contract remain undisclosed, rumors suggest that financial incentives and long-term strategic plans played a significant role in the player's choice. League insiders emphasize that this move, though still unofficial, could spark a domino effect, influencing other team decisions as the market reacts to the potential realignment of talent in Los Angeles. As the story develops, both teams are expected to remain tight-lipped, fueling further conjecture about timing, terms, and the broader implications for the league. For now, fans and analysts alike are left to speculate on how this potential switch could redefine one of the most storied rivalries in professional basketball. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.